All right, guys. So really quickly in this video, I'm going to show you how you can apply for a small business $10,000 grant. But before we jump into it, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and yeah, let's keep it moving. All right, so here we are on the U.S. Small Business Administration website. Really quickly, before we jump into it, if you are in Massachusetts and you are self-employed, I will have another video that is specifically for you coming up shortly. Let's get back into it. So here we are on the website, and I will include this link down below so that you can go to it and apply yourself. Streamlined process requirements. SBA is collecting the requested information in order to make a loan under SBA's Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program to the qualified entities listed in this application that are impacted by the virus. The information will be used in determining whether the applicant is eligible for an economic injury loan. If you do not submit all the information requested, your loan cannot be fully processed. The applicant understands that the SBA is relying upon the self-certifications contained in this application to verify that the applicant is an eligible entity to receive the advance and that the applicant providing this self-certification under penalty of perjury pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 17. The estimated time for completing this entire application is 2 hours and 10 minutes. Although you may not need to complete all parts, you are not required to respond to this collection of information unless it displays currently valid OMB approval number. Eligibility entity verification. So choose one, step one. Basically, if you're watching this, again, this is really geared towards my fellow independent contractors, entrepreneurs that are self-employed. So ultimately, you should be coming to this second option right here, which is applicant is an individual who operates under a sole proprietorship with or without employees or as an independent contractor. Some of these other options in here may, I guess, potentially apply to you, but I'm more so specifically making this video geared towards, again, independent contractors, sole proprietorships, and yeah. So after you click that second option here, you're going to scroll down, review and check all the following. Applicant must review and check all the following. Applicant is not engaged in any illegal activity, correct. No principal of applicant with a 50% greater ownership interest, correct. Applicant is not an agricultural enterprise, correct. Applicant does not present live performance or pursuant sexual nature, correct. Applicant does not derive more than 1/3 of gross annual revenue from illegal gambling activities, correct. Applicant is not in the business of lobbying, correct. Applicant cannot be a state, local, or municipal government entity or cannot be a member of Congress, correct. We're going to continue. Now here we are on step one, which is probably the most important step. Business legal name. This would be your trademark name, your company name that you use. I'm technically in the process right now of going through that. I do have one name that I'm doing business. I have a DBA for, but I technically don't use that one. So I'm going to actually just put my legit name, since that's what will, if they were to look into it, that's what they would, legally, I know for sure would come back. Now I do have, as I mentioned, kind of other names where you can look up. Adam Helper, for example, my one of my main brands that I'm in the process right now going through legally, trademarking and whatnot, but that's not registered with the state yet. Whereas I do have another one that is a DBA, but haven't really used that, and I don't have any money coming through that. So we're just going to run with this under my legal name. Then we're going to fill out your EIN, which you should have. I do, again, technically have, but I don't use that. So if they looked into it, and I don't know what they actually do to justify if you are worthy of this or not, but if they actually looked into it, they would probably say well, this guy doesn't make any money. So I don't want to use that. I do want to use my social security number here. Organization type. So sole proprietorship is what I'm just gonna, or independent. I mean, I don't know again to what extent this stuff is gonna play a factor in showing them how legit you are. Um, these are essentially the same thing, but I'm just gonna keep it under independent for now. Is the applicant a non-profit organization? No. Is the applicant a franchise? No. So right here again, probably the most important part is putting in your gross revenues, which is the total amount of money that you brought in over the past, basically throughout 2019, or excluding January. So the first month of this year, and then almost all of 2019. How much was the total amount of money that you brought in over those 12 months? That's what you're going to put right here for gross revenue. Of course, I'm going to block these similar to some of the other important personal things that I've included. And then, so I actually do use, I just did my taxes. So if you did your taxes, you probably could just jump in there and look at that. So maybe I'll blur them out. Maybe I'll keep those there. Everything else, rental properties, leave it. Nonprofit, cost of operation, not a nonprofit. Combined annual operating expenses. Again, all these other things don't have that asterisk, so it makes me think that these aren't as serious. Oh, plus this, yeah. Compensation from other sources received as a result. Nothing. Provide brief description of other compensation. Nothing. All right. Primary business address cannot be a PO box. Perfect. All that. Business email. Date business established. If you're an independent contractor and you don't actually have a DBA, probably you can just do any thing. I'm just going to do first last year for 2018. You know what? Technically, I stopped working full time in December of 2018. It was around Thanksgiving, so I'm just gonna throw that as my date. Current ownership since business activity. What kind of business is it? I mean, the main, I do so many different things. In terms of what I actually say the most of my money currently comes from, so, personal services. And this might not be too serious, but you probably do want to have something that's somewhat close or relevant to what you actually do. Maybe construction and contractors. It's the contractors part, business services kind of a combination of things that I do. You guys can go check out adamhelper.com and see some of my services there. We'll just do miscellaneous for now. That should be good. Detailed business activity, equipment rental, other service retail. None of the below. Number of employees. Now this is probably also very important. As of January 31st, 2020, how many employees do you actually have at your small business? If you're an independent contractor, an entrepreneur, sole proprietorship, and you do have other people that you work with that rely on you for their livelihood, and you do the 1099 thing with, then you absolutely want to consider them when you do this. I have a few people that I work with, but only one of them is who I would say is, like I would consider like an employee. Pretty much his main source of income. And again, there are other people that I work with as well, but not to the extent that I work with him. So I'm just going to say 2. Maybe saying 3. would work as well. But when you do this, you're thinking about yourself as one, and then any other people that work with you on a pretty serious level, where again you do the whole 1099 thing with them. So I think everything looks good from what I can see. We got the green light on everything off on the side. Okay, individual owner or agent. Now we're gonna do my actual information. Hopefully all of this is auto-filled. Just your name, title, office. I'm the CEO, I'm the owner. Ownership percentage, I have 100%. Email, then more personal, serious stuff, your social security, date of birth, place of birth, U.S. citizen, then your residential address information. And I think I'm missing something because it's not allowing me to move forward. Oh, I didn't even see this top question up here. Is your business owned by a business entity? No. Next, economic injury, disaster, additional information. In the past year, has a business or listed owner been convicted of criminal offense committed during and in connection with a riot or civil disorder or other declared disaster, even been engaged in the production or distribution of any product or service that has been determined to be obscene by a court of competent jurisdiction? No. Is the applicant or any listed owner currently suspended or debarred? No. Are you presently subjected to an indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or any means by which formal criminal charges are brought in? No. Have you been arrested in the past 6 months for any criminal offense? No. For any criminal offense other than minor vehicle violation, have you ever been convicted, pled guilty, pled non, been placed on criminal division, or been placed on any form of parole or probation, including probation before judgment? No, no, no. If anyone assisted you in completing this information, you're going to fill that out. So if you had someone actually do it for you, this is where their information would go. I would like to be considered for an advance of up to $10,000. Yes, probably the most important part that you actually want to do for this whole application, because this is really what it's about, that $10,000 grant that we want to get a shot at. Now, where do they send the funds? Then you're just going to do, I hereby certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States that the above is true and correct. And assuming you put in your bank information and whatnot, which maybe I'll do that right now. Go. Account number. Add all your banking information. I read everything over here. Click this little I certify. Everything is true and correct. Now we're going to do next. It's allowing us to review everything, making sure everything actually looks good and it's correct. My name, business name, legal name, the organization, all of this information. You just want to look it over again, make sure everything looks correct. Of course, I'm not a robot. I'm going to do submit. Bam. And there you have it, application submitted. The application number is so on and so on. You will be notified through the email address you submitted for any additional information needed once your application has been processed. Please write down your application number or print this page for your records. So there y'all have it. That's how you apply for this $10,000 grant for independent contractors, entrepreneurs, freelancers that actually have other people that they work with and that are on their team. It might not be a legit registered business, but if you are a landscaper and you have maybe 2 other guys that you work with that help you and you actually give them 1099s, then you should consider applying for this, because you might have a chance to get that $10,000 grant and access to more money. But it's really about that initial $10,000 grant, because you don't have to pay that back. So hopefully y'all found this helpful. I literally walked you through the steps of how to sign up as I signed up myself. I'll make another video to let you guys know what happened. If if they reached out, if they said, hey, we need more information, or everything looks good, or I was denied, or whatever. I'm excited to see what happens, regardless whether or not it gets accepted and approved or not. We're going to keep it moving over here. We're going to keep it grinding. I gotta do some fiber calls today for a cold calling gig. I have to work on some other projects of my own, do some other video content. So, we're staying focused, staying motivated, keeping it moving, keeping it grooving. And you guys already know, like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to be putting out more content like this, so you want to stay in the loop. And, you can check out adamhelper.com, which is where you can find some of my professional services as well, if I can be of assistance with anything at all. But all right, y'all, I'm going to keep it moving, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.